Alright, well, hello. Today we're going to talk about level 3 folder that will be the last one, or the last learning target of this unit. And we're going to talk about absolute value inequalities. So for a couple of days you had the opportunity to practice with equations, and now we are going to practice with inequalities involved with absolute value. The worksheet assignment will be 6.6a for day 1 and 6.6b for day 2. So once we are done with the video, you can go ahead and begin with your worksheet practice. So when we talk about inequalities, or just like equations, we have absolute value, equal sign, or in this case greater than, because inequality, a number. It means we have to separate into two parts. And again, the first part will be exactly the same thing what is given. The second part, the difference is now with inequalities, we gotta flip the sign. So we're flipping the sign from greater to less than, and we're adding negative sign in front of the number. That's all what you have to remember. Once you remember that, you will be good to go. You just need to solve each inequality independently and complete the examples. So how do we solve it? We minus 3, x will be greater than 5. Then minus 3 again, x will be less than negative 11. And we're done with first example. Next example, solve the inequality and graph the solution. So we have 6p, absolute value of 6p, and I write 6p is less or equal 12, and then I write 6p greater or equal, remember we flip the sign, minus 12. So we solve those independently, divide by 6, so p will be less or equal 2, and again divide by 6, so p will be greater or equal negative 2. Okay, if I have to graph those, negative 2 is here, positive 2 is right here, closed circle at negative 2, p is greater than, it means goes this direction, p is less or equal, again we have closed circle, p is less than, it goes in this direction. So all the solutions will be between those two numbers. Another example is absolute value of 2x minus 5 greater than 17. Okay, so separate this, 2x minus 5 greater than 17 and 2x minus 5 less than negative 17. Please don't forget, flip the inequality symbol and add negative sign here. Okay, solve it, plus 5, those two cancel, 2x greater than 22. Divide by 2, so x will be greater than 11, will be the first answer. Solving this, we add 5, so we get 2x is less than negative 12. Then we divide by 2, so x is less than negative 6 will be your second answer. If we need to graph it, negative 6 is first, then 11. At negative 6, open circle, x is less than, goes in this direction. At 11, we have open circle, x is greater, going to the other direction. With that, the examples are done. Another couple examples. So, the absolute value, we have 4c plus 5 greater or equal 7, and 4c plus 5 will be less or equal negative 7. Okay, solve that, minus 5 cancel, 4c is greater or equal 2 divided by 4, so c is greater or equal 1/2. Next one will be minus 5, those two cancel, 4c will be less or equal negative 12, and when we divide by 4, c will be less or equal negative 3. So on the graph, we put negative 3 over here and 1/2 over here. So at negative 3 we have closed circle, c is less than, going in this direction, And at 1/2 we have another closed circle. C is greater, going to the opposite direction. Next example, it requires a little bit additional steps. So before we separate the inequality, just like with equations, we gotta get rid of all the numbers outside the absolute value, and we always start with the one that is subtracted or added to, not the one that is multiplying, but the one that has minus or plus sign. So the opposite of minus will be plus 3 to each side. Then we have 4 times absolute value of w plus 7 is less than or equal 8. Next step, we will divide by 4. So absolute value of w plus 7 will be lesser equal 2. From here, we can go ahead and separate. So w plus 7 lesser equal 2, and w plus 7 will be greater or equal negative 2. We're flipping the sign here. Solve the inequalities, so minus 7, w will be lesser equal negative 5, minus 7, w will be greater or equal negative 9. The graph will look like this, negative 9 first, negative 5 after. At negative 9 we have closed circle, greater, which means goes this direction. And at negative 5 we have another closed circle, w less than, so all the solutions will be between those two numbers. With that, we're done with first few examples of this lesson. I want you to go on the back now and take a look at those couple examples. They're just multiple choice, so we're gonna read the example and see which answer will correspond best to the examples. You need to buy 5 notebooks, but only have $6 to spend. Which inequality can you use to find the possible number of notebooks that you can afford and N represents the price of the notebook. So think about, you have $6 and you can spend all those for notebooks. Now, if you're buying 5 notebooks and the N is the price of each notebook, we need to kind of think about multiplying 5 notebooks times N price, which will be equal or less than $6, right? So, C is the equation that you're looking for. And again, why C is the best choice? Because if you have $6 already, you can spend exactly $6 or you can spend less than for 5 notebooks. But you can spend greater than, you can divide the notebooks into 5 because we have given 5 notebooks, not the price. So overall, 5n lesser equals 6 will be your best choice for this example. And if you have more questions about the examples, let me know, and maybe I could help you one-on-one when you're going over the video. Number 4, the last example for today. Which inequality represents the verbal phrase, all real numbers that are greater than or equal to negative 5 over 1/3 and less than 25 and 2/3. So if we have all real numbers for one variable that are greater than or equal and form less than 25 and 2/3. Now always think about negative 5 and 1/3 is the less number, right? This is the smaller number. 25 and 2/3 is the greater number. And you have all real numbers, which could be x, a, b, any variable could represent the real numbers. And then it says they will be greater than or equal. So those numbers are greater than or equal of negative 5 over 1/3, but they also are less than 25 and 2/3. So once you construct your nth form of the inequality, you can go ahead and look and see which one corresponds to my choice. Is the first one good example? Is the second one good example? Is C a good example, or D the best choice? And if you start matching, definitely you will realize that choice A will be the one that we wanna choose in this case. All right, well, that's all for today. And questions, comments could be discussed over math chat on Schoology or in class. So have a great day and let me know if you have any.